For those of you who were just watching me a few minutes ago, and this is going to sound really weird as it starts the YouTube podcast, really, really sorry, but basically my YouTube live feed basically just crapped out, so I've just had to reload it from scratch, basically. Um, so yes, welcome to the live show for the second time. Um, have you ever had one of those starts the weeks where you're just like, I wish I'd never got out of bed? So far, I've had one broken live stream. I've managed to lose my old fella's pendant for 2 days, and my missus had to find it for me. I've managed to go through one laptop that isn't working. This is now spread to a second laptop not working, which incidentally contains all my notes and all my Geek Boy Meta stuff. Work, no comment. I've been soaked on every single time that I've left any kind of public building. And yeah, for want of a better phrase, guys, this week has been a massive pile of shit, to be completely honest. And it started off with the Reds losing to Manchester City as well. And yeah, it's been absolutely brilliant so far. I've loved every single minute of it. So yes. um yes, welcome to the Monday Night Raw reaction show. So this is just to clarify, this is the second time I've started the live stream. It looks like I'm having some connectivity problems, so I'm going to try and keep this brief, guys, to be honest, and hopefully I can stick around as long as I can do. If you can't watch it now and it doesn't look like I'm getting through to many people, to be honest, it should just be available on YouTube podcast and YouTube video tomorrow. And yeah, I will tell you about some stuff that I've already told you about a little bit later on. So yeah, let me get back to what I was speaking about. So in the first part of this, I discussed how Bron Breakker is shoot injured. Obviously, we don't know how long he's going to be out for, and so on and so forth. Definitely not a work, it's an actual shoot injury. When he's going to be back, who knows, but I would imagine the reason that they're telling everyone now is I don't think Bron Breakker's going to be at WrestleMania. My guess would be, if he's healthy enough, he returns for Monday Night Raw after Mania, or maybe if it's a horrendous injury, maybe he returns at SummerSlam. But obviously we don't know yet. But obviously losing Bron Breakker WWE wise, it's not a disaster but they've got so many stars, obviously. In terms of the vision for them, obviously this comes after the Seth Rollins thing, and it is an unmitigated disaster essentially. So, yeah. What I was going to say was, I'm going to give the award of the night, because I usually give an award of the night for best match or best moment, as most of you guys know. And the award goes to one Rebecca Quinn, otherwise known as Becky Lynch. Her segment with AJ Lee, I don't often laugh, as you know, I'm not the most happiest person in the world most of the time. I try to be, but yeah, not so much. The segment with AJ Lee and Becky Lynch is without doubt one of the funniest things I've seen for at least 2 years. I don't think my son's actually heard me laugh, properly laugh like I used to when I was a young man. I mean, I was rolling around on the floor. Honestly, Becky Lynch's performance in that when she was going mental, and AJ Lee's sell job of her just being a complete weirdo were just priceless, absolutely priceless. Hey, Mason Tyree. Hello, Mason Tyree. How you doing? You all right? Yeah, no, honestly, if you've not seen it, folks, and people listening to the podcast later, just go and watch Becky Lynch's performance. Like, obviously, I'm looking at it through a critical eye in terms of like heel work and face work and so on and so forth. And Becky Lynch is just killing it at the minute. I mean, she literally is the man. I mean, you can tell obviously she's an actor trained. I mean, she's a fully trained actor. Obviously, she's in that Star Trek thing in a minute. She was. Who else did she play? Cyndi Lauper on Young Rock as well. I mean, she's been doing acting for a very long time, so she knows how to do it. But it was AJ Lee's look where she was just like, "What are you talking about, you crazy person?" It honestly, I won't describe it any more, folks, but just basically go and watch it, because it honestly, I don't think I have laughed so much in all my life. It was absolutely priceless. absolutely brilliant. What are we talking about? We are talking about Monday Night Raw, my friend, WWE. Just reacting to what happened last night. I've literally just started. Well, let me try again. I've literally just finished watching Monday Night Raw, and I've had to reboot my live stream already because the YouTube live stream has crapped out. So yes, there we go. But yes, I will probably talk about that, and I might potentially talk about these guys as well. Although I'm very annoyed with them at the minute, so I don't know if I will. But there we go. Let's have a look. So yeah, the promo bit was absolutely brilliant. So please go and watch that. First match was the Usos versus Alpha Academy. I'm just gonna say, guys, look, again, I don't do comedy matches particularly. I don't mind comedy segments. The Rock was brilliant at it. DX was brilliant at it. Obviously Mick Foley knew his way around a joke. The Alpha Academy versus the Usos was, I mean, it was terrible. Simple as that. I'm not even going to review it. No offense to all four guys; they all work the hardest, but yeah, the Usos retained, let's just put it that way, but I did not enjoy that match, to be honest, and I thought it was completely pointless, to be honest. Hey, Barney Rubble, how you doing, mate? You're all right? How's it going, pal? Um, yeah, to be honest, Raw was a bit, it was a bit weird, to be honest, because there was some bits that I really, really, really enjoyed, and then there was just, like, I don't know, an absolute bucket of crap that would follow it, basically. Pardon the expression, but I don't know. I enjoyed Raw overall. Don't get me wrong. I mostly do enjoy Raw. I'd say it was a good sort of B plus show, but there were just a couple of segments that were just really unnecessary, to be honest. Kurt Angle for me was great on the mic. Oh, dude, Kurt Angle is one of the best promos slash talkers in the history of wrestling, mate. And I never thought when Kurt first started, Barney, I just thought he was a bit of an idiot, to be honest. Like, because I remember that initial, there was an initial vignette, because obviously he was a, shoot Olympic wrestler. And like the vignette, he was just like going about showcasing his talents and this, that, and the other. And I didn't put two and two together at the time that he was being a heel, and I don't think Kurt did either, from what was. But I was just, hell is this bloke? Um, but I remember making his debut, and I can't remember who it was again. Who was it against? No, I can't remember. But anyway, halfway through his match, he picks up the microphone and perfectly just says, "You do not boo an Olympic gold medalist." And I was just like, "Oh, he's got something there." And then obviously Kurt Angle had the career that he had, one of the greatest of all time. Barney for me, I absolutely loved Kurt Angle. Gutted when he retired. Even more gutted with his opponent when he retired, but that's a whole other conversation. For those of you listening, I actually had a really good idea from one of my subscribers the other day that I basically stole off him this time last week, but I've not had time to implement it as of yet. But most of you guys know and follow me that I've got like an insane amount of playlists, so Comic Cons, toy hunts, football stadium tours, Pride, horror, Liverpool Football Club, wrestling, horror movies, and so on and so forth. There's Ghana, obviously. Oh, I've not got my Ghana thing on today. Bear me a second. There we go. National team. Yes, I've got loads of playlists. So I took the really sensible decision of adding another playlist. So I'm going to be talking about at some stage the Attitude Era. So the playlist at the moment is called Geek Boy Does the Attitude Era. And basically the only thing on it at the moment is me doing a promo, basically saying I'm going to be talking about the Attitude Era and bugger all else, basically. Well, actually, to be fair, there's a load of toy shorts on it of like I don't know, WCW, Roddy Piper, Stone Cold, Sid Vicious from WCW days, Bret Hart. There's like a triple pack of Ken Shamrock, Bret Hart, and Stone Cold Steve Austin that they've just released from their match at when was it now? Survivor Series 1997, when Austin was bleeding. So basically, long story short, I'm gonna start a new series about talking about the Attitude Era. I've got some ideas. I haven't totally decided how I'm going to do this, and I also need to think of a day to do this because like I said, I'm a dad trying to do this, going to work, going to see family, and all the things that we all have to do. And yeah, I'm not entirely sure how or what I'm going to do with this, but yeah, I'm going to be doing some Attitude Era stuff anyway. Let me just have a look. I think Kurt was very underrated in WWE. I only realised I've grown up what a legend he is. Yeah, yeah, exactly the same thing for me, Barney. Like, because I used to watch it and I was just like, seriously, and obviously I knew it was work at the age of 18, 19, but I used to watch it with a group of mates back home in Derby. Um, and we would, I mean, I've spoken about this before, but we would go in Derby City Centre, like most 18, 19, go up chasing girls, raising hell, drinking beers, and then we'd come back to Alistair, where I used to live, with like a crate of lager, come round to my mum's house usually. But they used to show Monday Night Raw on a Friday night. And I think it was on, I want to say it's something like 12 o'clock or 1 o'clock in the morning. And it's one of my best memories ever. I didn't realise at the time, but I had so much fun watching Monday Night Raw back in the day. It was just so brilliant during the Attitude Era. And yeah, I think that's probably why I'm going to do some Attitude Era stuff because, yeah, I actually really miss that time. I know obviously it's like nearly 30 odd years ago now, but it's great memories for me. I mean, I like the wrestling now, but that's always going to be my favourite era, basically. So yeah. Attitude Era was unrivaled. I was at primary school and high school through that era. Great memories. Yeah, absolutely, Barney. Absolutely. Like I said, I didn't realise how much I loved the Attitude Era until looking, probably like the last few years, being a dad now, just looking back on it and going, that was just such a special time. And yeah, unfortunately, we'll never get it again. But yeah, no, they were great memories. So like I said, I'm going to do some sort of. I haven't quite figured out the format just yet, but I'm gonna talk about the time, the culture, because obviously for context, like obviously the 90s was a slightly a different time and place to the how does one put this, the current times we're living in, shall we say. So yeah, I'll talk about sort of 90s, talk about stars of the Attitude Era storylines, what happened with WCW. Basically, I've got loads that I'm just gonna like shoot from the hip basically and just talk about stuff and talk about how I got into the Attitude Era. Probably a lot of it will revolve around Stone Cold Steve Austin, as it usually does, because he's my favourite wrestler of all time. Steve Austin's my guy, and I absolutely love the bloke. In a lot of ways, I might even not be here if it was not for seeing Stone Cold Steve Austin at one point. But yeah, great memories, great memories. Excuse me. No better feeling than doing a full week of school to watch Raw and SmackDown on a Friday and Saturday night. Absolutely, dude. Absolutely. Yes, SmackDown. Yeah. SmackDown was ended up being Saturday night, didn't it? So I think I just left Derby, so I would have been. What? How old was I? I think I just turned 19 or 18, something along the lines. I can't quite remember. Um, and then they started SmackDown because I think at that point WCW, I'm not sure if they'd already done Thunder. I think WWE did SmackDown first, and then WCW did Thunder, obviously with Nitro. But like WCW was carried in England, but it wasn't the same as like when you had it on Sky Sports and so on and so forth. But yeah, no, dude, honestly, I just remember. Um, I mean, especially on the Friday night when I used to watch it in Derby. So it's not like now where you could say AEW. If you want to see AEW, you can just basically watch it anywhere. You can watch it on Triller. You can DVR it. You can watch it on YouTube. That I do quite a bit, to be honest. I mean, you can actually watch most of Dynamite on YouTube if you put all the segments together. And there's multiple ways you can watch it. You can watch New Japan and TNA and so on and so forth, blah, blah, blah. But back in the day, I've had to explain this to my lad, who's only like 12 years old, and he doesn't get the concepts of we didn't have all this in the 90s. If you wanted to watch WCW and Raw, I tried doing it once and I had to get like one of those big, you know, one of them big generators that you used to have where you put all like cables in it and stuff. I had to wheel one of those in uh, from the old fella's garage, and it looked like, I don't know, it looked like I was wheeling a Dalek in or something like that. And you'd hook everything up, and then you'd have one TV showing WCW, one showing Raw, and I, I tried doing it anyway. It was just impossible. So most of the time I was WWE, but then as soon as it went to an advert break and Sky would like piss about doing like 5 6 minute advert breaks, I would literally be like, right, WCW. But then the only trouble is I'd end up finding something on WCW, then I'd miss half of Raw and so on and so forth. But yeah, no, honestly, it was just such a special time. So I look forward to speaking about it more, to be completely honest. Let's have a look. Can remember the times: Friday night, Raw 9 to 11, Saturday 8 till 10. Yeah, I think that was roughly the times, wasn't it, mate? Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think the only reason actually, if you're thinking about it, I think there was the only reason me and the boys ended up watching Raw was I'm sure for a while. In fact, I know they did do this because I can remember. Well, I can just about remember because we were all drunk basically, but I can just about remember coming home to Alistair in Derby, and it was definitely on at one night. At least 4 or 5 nights it was on at like, I don't know, 12 o'clock at night or something like that. Maybe it was the replay or something. I don't know, but I definitely remember it being late night at least for a while. But yeah, no, it was awesome, dude. Absolutely awesome. In terms of Raw, yeah, basically there was a segment next with Dominic Mysterio and Liv Morgan and Stephanie Vaquer, which I thought was pretty rancid, to be honest. I feel a bit sorry for Liv Morgan because, look, that's Dom's character. He's just meant to be like a chilled weirdo, basically. Stephanie Vaquer, obviously, she is speaking her second language. Obviously, she's got a lot more fire when she's speaking in her mother tongue. Um, but I've noticed that Liv's had this recently when she did a segment the other day with, who was it, Jordan Grace and Jade Cargill as well, that she's by far, and I think she's the best talker in women's wrestling at the minute for me. I think they can pretty much tell Liv Morgan to go out and just say, you need to say this, this, and this. The rest of it, just fill it in. And I think she can just bullet point. To be honest, I reckon Liv Morgan is actually very underrated. Not in terms of the wrestling, even though she's really good, but I think she's a fantastic talker. And I think she's a very, very good heel at the minute, to be honest. But I don't know, it kind of looks like she's being let down by the people around her. To be but I really do like Liv Morgan. I'm just a bit worried that um I'm just a bit worried that basically Liv Morgan versus Jade Cargill would be interesting, but I don't know how you do that, to be quite honest. I really don't. Liv Morgan against Vaquer, I'd prefer, but I just don't know. There's something missing a little bit. If it Liv Morgan versus Rhea Ripley were really good because Rhea can, again, she can just basically say these things on the fly. They have really good chemistry together. I think Liv Morgan versus Becky Lynch would be absolutely fantastic. But you'd have to turn one of them babyface, obviously. Same thing with Liv Morgan versus Charlotte, or Liv Morgan versus maybe Liv Morgan against Alexa Bliss, something like that. I just worry in terms of what. Uh, yeah, basically, I just worry in terms of how good the match is going to be. Look, obviously, Stephanie Vaquer is an outstanding wrestler, but I don't know. She's another one that I kind of think it would make a better heel, maybe, to be honest. But people seem to like her as a babyface, so what do I know at the end of the day? Yeah, after that, we had, well, for me, match of the night. It was Rhea Ripley versus Ivy Nile versus Lyra Valkyria. Um, can I just say, Ivy Nile, what I believe the young people call it showing up and showing out, or something on the lines. I don't know. I heard my son say it. Uh, I thought Ivy Nye was absolutely outstanding. I really, really enjoyed her work. Some of the suplexes, I mean, she is buff as well. Absolutely just brick S House buff. Really, really impressive. I thought she had a really good outing. Obviously, the crowd wasn't that into her, but I mean, obviously, she's literally just come back and they're going to have to build Ivy up a little bit. I mean, I don't know how. The trouble is, she's kind of got a bit of a similar gimmick now to Natty and maybe a little bit to Jordan Grace because obviously all three of those women are. I mean, Natty's not a powerhouse, but I mean, obviously she's a very, very strong woman. Um, and maybe I wouldn't say there's too much of that. I mean, I think Ivy Now is really, really good. I think they could just do with separating her a little bit, maybe concentrate more on her because I think if I'm not much mistaken, I've seen a podcast with Ivy Now. I think she was on Chris Van Villa, and I'm sure she was talking about doing MMA stuff. So yeah, maybe they need to sort of lean into that. But I thought she was really impressive. But Rhea Ripley basically got the win. I thought Lyra was really good as well. And I thought it was an excellent, excellent match. Thoroughly enjoyed it, so I would recommend that. Um, I actually really, really enjoyed the whole Finn Balor and CM Punk. I like the way they're sort of muddy in the water. What I say muddy in the waters. We all know it's going to be Roman Reigns versus CM Punk. But it's kind of put. I wouldn't say it's put. It's not put any doubt in for me, to be honest, because obviously CM Punk will be Finn Balor. I have no doubt about that. I think the Finn Balor arc will probably be more to do with him splitting from the Judgment Day more than anything, and maybe putting Finn Balor as like a challenger for whoever wins the SmackDown title. I don't know, or maybe they go back to Punk, or maybe they even start with Balor and Roman Reigns after Reigns maybe beats Punk. I don't know, because obviously, as much I'm a huge CM Punk fan, as you can see, but I I think it's a bit of a troll on Punk. I actually do think that Roman Reigns will beat CM Punk, and I really hope he doesn't, but I don't know. I just feel as if he will, but we'll have to see. Hey Elijah, how you doing, mate? You alright? But yeah, no, I really, really like the CM Punk and Finn Balor thing. I thought it was excellent. It does make me wonder. I'll throw this out to the podcast listeners, who will be listening tomorrow when this comes up. Just throwing it out there, what happens if Finn Balor did win? Like, what are we doing? Could it be Balor versus Roman versus Punk? I mean, would Roman sort of say, no, I want to face CM Punk? I don't know. I mean, it's not going to happen, obviously, but at least it's kind of like, it's put it into some jeopardy kind of thing. I don't know. Elijah, what's the games tonight? I did not, Elijah. I kept an eye on it on my phone, mate. I know that, but my good old football team, who are stinking out the joints at the minute, I understand that we got away with it, shall we say, tonight, because if I'm not much mistaken, I think my hometown club did us a favour and got a draw against Chelsea, I believe. Um, I'm fairly sure that happened anyway, so I could hear all the screaming around me because we were like about 2 miles away from Ellen Road, and you can hear people carrying on in the streets and this, that, and the other, and saying "F off Chelsea" and this, that, and the other. So I know they drew. I know Man United did their 90s tribute act by getting a 157th minute equaliser. Excuse the sarcasm. What else? Chelsea, Man United. What was another game? What? No. Oh yes, Tottenham versus Newcastle. Um, Speaking of WWE, Thomas Frank, you're fired. I would have thought that was my Vince impression, but yeah, no, he's gone, dude. Thomas Frank, I would be astonished. I'm kind of I've got one of my laptops that does work just around the corner, and I'm actually looking. I've actually been looking, scrolling just to see if he has been sacked because I mean I know Tottenham finished bottom four last season, but I know it sounds a bit weird, but they were never really in danger of getting relegated because like the bottom three were like I think from what memory serves, I think Tottenham were 17th and they ended up finishing about 18 points above the bottom four or something, the bottom three or whatever it was. I mean, this is not 18 points now. This is what, 3 points? And if West Ham had actually won, like, I'm not sure if I've got this right maths wise, but I think because it's the FA Cup this weekend, isn't it? I'm sure someone on Five Live said earlier that if Tottenham lost their next game and West Ham and well, obviously not now because West Ham have dropped that 2 points, unfortunately. But if West Ham won their next game and if Forest won their next game, I'm sure Five Live said that everyone would be equal with Spurs. Now, look, whatever you think about Tottenham, like the Spursy, this, that, the other. I mean, this is Tottenham Hotspur Football Club. I mean, I have never seen them relegated. I've seen them close a couple of times, but for all my life, Tottenham Hotspur have been in the top division. I mean, obviously the locals where I live would disagree, I'm sure, obviously, because Leeds going down was the biggest one that I've ever seen, personally. There was Forest back in the day when they went down, that was a big one. Tottenham going down would be the biggest relegation that I've ever seen in this country without a shadow of a doubt. Obviously there was Rangers, but that was for financial irregularities and so on and so forth. But yeah, that would be insane, completely insane, to be honest. But yeah, like I said, I really enjoyed the Punk and the Balor segment. I thought it was really good, really entertaining. I kind of like this whole thing with the Vision and Heyman and Pierce. It's it's randomly like one of those storylines that's not involving wrestlers, but it's kind of just bubbling away in the background. I do wonder why they keep putting Heyman with Pierce, because obviously Adam Pierce is like a very, very capable and very class professional wrestler himself, and I'm just wondering, maybe Adam Pierce is going to start wrestling. Maybe Heyman gets the GM manager's job or something. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But there's definitely something going on with Adam Pearce and Paul Heyman. You could see it building, just bubbling away in the background. So yeah, really enjoyed that. Um, I was really pleased to see the low key legend, otherwise known as Nasty Neidhart. I'm really glad that she gets to do that gimmick now in WWE. That woman has worked her arse off to get where she is. So shout out to Natty. I thought she was fantastic against Maxine. Um, Most of you guys will know, listen to it on the podcast, that I'm not the biggest Maxine fan in the world. I think she needs to go back to NXT, if I'm being completely honest. But fair play to the girl, she keeps turning up, and she is improving week by week, but she's not there quite yet for me, to be honest. But I'm really enjoyed seeing Natty. Obviously, AJ Lee came out to make the save, and then Becky Lynch attacked her. Obviously, they've got their IC title match at Elimination Chamber, which is also in Chicago, which is where AJ Lee is from, and her husband CM Punk, who will also be facing Finn Balor, as well as 2 Elimination Chambers. So I am thoroughly, thoroughly looking forward to the Elimination Chamber. I think it's going to be absolutely fantastic. So yeah, looking forward to that. I will be covering that as well. I'll be doing live reaction as well. Swig of water again. Yeah, so really, really looking forward to that, guys, to be honest. What else? We had Los Americanos versus the real El Grande Americano, Chad Gable. Javon Evans did some very sick moves, as he always does. That cutter against Ryo, who someone told me was Pete Dunne the other day in the mask, which now I think about it is probably about right. But Javon Evans basically did a cutter where he caught possibly Pete Dunne, I don't know who it is, but in midair, and basically did a cutter, and it was absolutely insane. Probably definitely moving the night for me. I do like Javon Evans, very, very good. Looking forward to seeing a lot more of his career, but he's definitely got something. Definitely got something. Whether they unmask the new El Grande Americano, I mean, look, I'm just throwing this out there. I really do hope that they unmask the new Americano and just say, yes, it is Ludwig Kaiser, because it is becoming very tiresome, this now. and just unmask Chad Gable. Maybe, I mean, you can see that being an undercard match at WrestleMania where they finally give Ludwig his big moment. It does make me think though, if it's a group with what Ludwig, Kaiser, and Pete Dunne, maybe they all get unmasked and it's like a European group, like what they did with Wade Barrett and Drew McIntyre back in the day, and Rusev. The League of Nations. I mean, there's an idea. Maybe they could reform the League of Nations with just like a brand new team. I don't know. It'll be interesting anyway. Uh, Gunther was wheeled out to do a promo with Byron Saxton, which is not how I would choose to continue my heat after retiring AJ Styles, but still, that's just me. He's in. Oh, actually, speaking of, um, so Gunther did his promo, and then they announced Gunther was going to be in his triple threat match to get through to the Elimination Chamber, and it's going to be a very interesting match this because it's Gunther versus Javon, which is fine. They had a fantastic match, by the way, last year. Javon Evans versus Gunther. It was thoroughly. If you've not seen it from last year, I would thoroughly recommend it. It was an awesome, awesome match. But the third participant in that match is going to be Dominic Mysterio. So it's Gunther versus Dom versus Javon, which also rhymes. Um, yeah, that's going to be very, very interesting because obviously you've got one face and two heels. I mean, I don't know if Gunther's had that much interaction with the Judgment Day. I can't recall him having done so. Um, I'm just wondering how they're going to do that, to be honest, in terms of having two heels. Lot 22, but look, obviously Gunther's going to win, it goes without saying. I'm a bit surprised Dom isn't going to be in the chamber, although perhaps Gunther doesn't make it to the chamber and someone attacks him, maybe. I don't know. Maybe this is where you get AJ Styles back. I mean, like I said, I'm really hoping it's a fake retirement. I'm hoping he's pulling Mark Henry duties here. And AJ's just going to show up and said, I'm not really retired. And I was like, that's fine, that'll do, mate, job done. Because it's pretty rubbish how it ended, but yeah, we'll have to wait and see. They also announced Bailey versus Oscar and Natty Neidhart. You'd imagine Oscar maybe picks up that one. I mean, I am definitely team low key legend. I am here for Natty winning the world title at WrestleMania. I think she thoroughly deserves it, and like I would love to see her do it. I really would, just to cap off a great career. But whether they do, I would be very very surprised. I would have thought